Hello everyone and welcome to Townsfolk Tussle, a game I did an unboxing of a little while ago now, maybe a week. And we're going to play it through today. Not a how to play, just to be clear, this is kind of a learning to play, although the old demo they made for the Kickstarter when this was running on Tabletop Simulator is still available, and I played that through with a couple of friends. Took us like 2 hours. We died like 2/3 of the way through, but kept on playing on just to see how it finished. It was very fun, and we're going to try playing it now with a couple of the optional rules, which you can find at the back of the rulebook. There we are, the extra bits. In game mode variants on page 30. We're going to be playing solo, and it suggests that if you want to play it solo, you pick 3 characters to play as, which I will be doing. We'll go into detail about how the game actually plays in a second. And the all for one, one for all rule as well, which just means you have a shared stash of spare equipment, because when you're playing solo, I don't see any reason to not do that. The only thing you need to do to play it solo, besides having the 3 characters you choose to play as, there's a deck called Town Events. You go through that and take out every one that says secret, and then you're good to go. You can play the entire game solo as normal. But what is Townsfolk Tussle? Well, the sheriff of a town has been brutally murdered, and as a result, ruffians have invaded the town and are causing trouble. Different types of trouble depending on the ruffian. You are a band of townsfolk who are standing up to the ruffians, and you have to defeat them, and along the way also pick a new sheriff. So the game is broken into 4 town phases and 4 battles. You start in town phase 1, which we'll go through in detail in a second, and then you go to a battle, which is random. I've already pre-randomly selected. It is random, I don't know what these are. You fight a ruffian that's super easy, you go back to town. You fight another ruffian that's slightly harder, you go back to town. Third one, go back to town, and then the 4th and final ruffian, each one has a very unique final fight that's on their card. And in the final fight you select a new sheriff who gets special powers, and you elect the sheriff based on how many merits you have achieved as you got there. Again, this will all be explained as we play, but that's the rough introduction. This is the board the game is played on. It gets cleared and you make up the battlefields using terrain provided. The terrain cards go along the bottom here to tell you what they do, but let's look at the team. So here are the 3 characters I'm choosing to play as in my solo mode playthrough. And the first, we're going to go from left to right. This is Georgie Irongut. Specifically, he is a parasite living inside the corpse of a dead goat king, and he doesn't like the ruffians very much, so he's deciding to stand up to them. He starts with his dad's head hammer, which is equipped into one of his hands. The equipment cards for these characters you can see up the top here. I'll talk about the middle one since that's the one you can see best in a second. He also has a stale cake, and he has a couple of special rules. If he uses a consumable, it is not consumed. And he can also trot, which is basically a charge. The middle character is Henlo Bulwark. She is a chicken who accidentally opened someone else's mail, and she mistakenly believed that that was a capital punishment, so she went on the run. So she is a little confused. She lives the first time she would normally die as a headless chicken, and she can also heal people for one of the stats you use in the game. So because you can see this card the best, we'll talk about it. She starts with a wheat sickle. It costs 1 moxie to try and attack with it. You need a 5+ on a d10 to hit, and if you do, you do 1 damage. These are your stat tracks. Every character has base stats which already have markers on them, because I've done that ahead of time. And you start with 10 coins as well when you start the game. She's also wearing her farmer's overalls, which I think just makes certain terrain results better from memory. So you have 4 stats to worry about. Your health, that's just self-explanatory. You hit 0 health, you're dead. Next is movement, that's just how many tiles you can move on the board. Moxie is what you spend to do things. Interacting with terrain can cost moxie. Using a weapon costs moxie. You have 2 hands, but there are 2-handed weapons. If you have 2 single-handed weapons, you can attack with each of them once in a turn, presuming you have enough moxie. So for instance, the wheat sickle, it costs 1 moxie. Per turn, Henlo Bulwark gets 2, so if she had a right-handed weapon that also cost 1 moxie, she could attack with both. Again, assuming you have range and whatnot. So the third character, who's slightly out of view card-wise, is a man with an anvil for his head. He is a Yancey Plover, and he is basically just an angry blacksmith that is sick of everyone's you-know-what. So he is starting with a smithy apron, which allows him to ignore all damage received once per fight. And Old Smacky, which is his blacksmith hammer, which takes 2 moxie to attack with. You need a 5+ as well, and only does 1 damage, but it does have a special rule. If he gets a crit, he does extra damage. So again, that might be a little bit overcomplicated. You don't need to worry about so much about their individual stats. I'll live in health. I'll keep track of everything. But they also, oh sorry, the fourth stat I never went over is accuracy. Some characters can start with an accuracy debuff. Henlo Bulwark is starting on -1, so that's a -1 to whatever the roll is, making it slightly harder to land. Georgie Irongut is also on a -1, but Yancey Plover is on flat 0, so no influence at all. The town phase that we're going into, which is the start of the game proper, is broken into 3 phases. You draw feat cards, which are how you try and earn merits. You do town events, and you shop. Simple as that, and then you go into the first fight. So, let's go into that. Now I've already pre-prepared the shop, because as you can see the base game comes with many items, so I just shuffled, picked out 10 of them, and they're in the shop over on your right. We'll look at that in a second. But we start with the feat phase, and these are feats. And each character can have up to 3 at any one time. And we're just going to draw them. So I'll just draw 3 for Georgie Irongut. So for instance, Bard, end the town phase with an instrument equipped. And if you do that, you gain 1 point towards becoming the new sheriff, and then you choose one of these bonuses, either 3 pennies or +1 moxie for the fight you're about to do. You can't switch it yet, but you can choose to switch after a fight. His other one is Lord of the Landscape. Enter every terrain feature currently on the landscape. Ooh, that's tough. Okay, his third one. Caught in the bag. Take damage from the ruffian when the target is farthest townsfolk. That could just happen, depending on who we're fighting. Alright, so the next 3 are Henlo Bulwarks. And we will speed up, obviously. I'm trying to go a little bit slowly just to make sure the game is followable. Tinkerer, interact with a train piece. Super easy to earn, but it's not worth any points, which might matter. Does give you a bonus for the fight though. Food Fighter, consume a consumable. Okay. And then the third one, Blood Boiler. Personally trigger 2 ruffian breaking points. We'll cover what breaking points are when we're actually into the first fight. And then 3, Yancey Plover. Oh, that's the wrong thing, sorry. Feat cards. Unshakable. If your movement, moxie and accuracy are lowered by a ruffian's action, achieve this feat. Okay, next one. Rowdy Landscaper. Remove a terrain piece from the board. You do that by breaking it or sometimes completing the optional detail on it. Multitasker. Interact with a terrain piece and attack the ruffian on the same turn. Possible. Very possible. So once you've got your feats, you move on to phase 2 of 4 of the town phase, which is resolve a town event for each character. So, Georgie Irongut, this is yours. Rolling Fog. You're swallowed by a cloud of rolling fog. I'll need to read this. It's near impossible to see anything. You've stumbled over bodies left and right. In the next fight, the ruffian skips their first turn and all townsfolk lower their accuracy by 1. So we'll need to keep that in mind. I'll put that to my side where I know you can't see it, but I'll see it. So the ruffian skips their first turn in the first fight. That's pretty good. The town event for Henlo Bulwark. Abandoned Farm. Well, there's a lot of options here. You come across a dilapidated homestead and decide to take a peek inside. Roll and then add on your accuracy. Her accuracy is -1. So actually we're subtracting. So that comes down to a 7, which is... The farm is empty, but you spot a ruffian through the window. Looks like you'll be able to get the jump on them. The ruffian skips its first turn in the next fight. Unfortunately, that basically doesn't matter because it's already losing its first turn, but hey. And then Yancey Plover's town event. Death Grip. The team finds a burly fella crushed beneath a pile of rubble. His lifeless hands are gripped tightly around a weapon. Perhaps one of you can pry it from his cold, dead hands. So in buying order, which it doesn't really matter if you're playing solo, but it's technically Henlo, Yancey, Georgie, which is over on the left, which you can't quite see. You test, you roll, and then add on your max HP and Moxie. Okay, so Henlo is adding 5 to this. That's a crit, so that's a 10. That's already 15, that's enough. Hot Dog, you manage to pry it away from his strong grip. Receive the first two-handed weapon from the peddler deck. No other townsfolk may roll in this event. So we just go to the peddler deck, which is this, and we look for a two-handed weapon. Oh, there we go. The Lion Tamer, melee two-handed shield and whip, 2 moxies to use, 4+ accuracy, 1 damage. Once per fight, prevent all damage dealt to you or an adjacent. Alright, so that means her wheat sickle is going into the group storage, which I'll keep off to the camera. And she's now equipped in both the left and right hand with the Lion Tamer. So that's that phase done, and then we go into the buying phase. So here's the shop down here, And you are supposed to go in a specific order, but again, if you're playing solo, so you're playing all the characters, it doesn't really matter. Now, getting that free weapon from the event actually changes what I was originally going to do, but the cost of each item is to the right of it. You can sell one item or buy one item every shop phase. So, let's see. Let's have Georgie Iron Gut buy the jammed trunk, for 8 gold. It's a melee weapon, one-handed, but he can open it during the fight to potentially get a better weapon for 3 moxie, which he does have. So that's going to go in his other hand, and he'll have 2 coins left, which I'll sort off camera in a second. Let's see. Let's have Henlo buy... Let's have them buy just the cloth wrappings for 2. Just 2 gold. When you take damage, you can discard this to lower the damage received by 1. And that goes in your chest gear. Oh, I forgot to say. They have head gear, chest gear, leg gear, an accessory, and then left hand, right hand. And Yancey Plover, he could buy... He's going to buy for 5 the lemonade, which is a heal. And again, normally you consume, if you consume something, it's gone forever. Georgie Iron Gut has a rule that makes him not do that, but we'll give this to Yancey so he can heal once per fight, because he's kind of the tanky guy. So that's it. Once you're done, that means you enter the town phase. You clear away the shop, you shuffle the deck, you flip this card over, and then you go see who the first ruffian you're fighting is. So give me a second to sort that out. So, we're in the first fight phase against a ruffian who is a chump level ruffian, which means they're super weak. Who is it? I have no idea. It is Umbrello. I don't like Umbrello. He's the one we lost to when we were playing online. So I look through the boss card real quick and find Umbrello. There he is. So this is what a boss card looks like. I can pull out a little bit. That's what you get. It's a lot of information, but because he's just a chump, he has no extra special rules. He's just a chump. His stats, because we count as having 3 characters, he's got 14 health, 6 movement. He has a weakness that applies to his AI deck, because that's how the ruffians activate. They have AI decks. So what you need to do first is flip this over. You also flip the shop over. Here is the shop. You flip it over, and then this is where the AI for the ruffian goes. This is where you track their health. And the red dials on their health track is when they do desperate actions, when they get mad at you and get a free turn, essentially. So you set up a board that looks exactly like that. Anything that says FF you do not do unless it's the 4th fight of the game, because that means it's the final fight. And then you do their like unique mission that's listed here only if it's the final fight. So we're just going to set up this board. I'm going to do that, and then we'll get into it. I should mention also, I think I did mention, but when we were playing this through online, it took us like 2 hours to get through the entire game. So I might break this into 2 videos if I feel like it's overrunning a little bit. We'll do the first 2 fights and then do the latter 2 fights in another one. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so we are now set up fully for the first battle. I totally forgot to put the wishing well on, incidentally. It's hopefully not going to matter because it's all the way over there, but just during that time lapse of setting up. So there's a few potential starting locations. You can pick from 5 for your team. The ruffian always starts in a specific place. Umbrello has started here, and normally the ruffians activate, but he's skipping his first turn. So let me just see here to make sure we're doing this right. Underneath the thing here is a cheat sheet. We have the ruffian's AI deck. Yes, we do. All townsfolk can discard any... Okay, that's the town phase. Yeah, we're good. So he's got 14 health, 6 movement. He's skipping his first turn, but normally you would draw an AI deck. Oh no, it's Umbrello. And I remember from fighting this person in the online game we tried, he loves drawing you over to the town pool to try and do nasty stuff to you. The terrain cards down here are just to tell you what the terrain features do if you interact with them. For this first fight, it's probably not going to matter as much. But you're supposed to go in beating order, which is in the reverse of buying order, i.e. the ruffian goes first, but then it would be Georgie Iron Gut. So I've got to remember he's -1 accuracy because of the fog. He can move up to 4, I believe. He's not going to need to do that. He's just going to go 1, 2... he's got range. No, he doesn't have range actually, so he does need to be point blank. He'll walk right up to Umbrello and he'll try and smack him. Simple as that. He'll use his dad's head's hammer for the entirety of his moxie, which he actually has 4 moxie a turn. He's going to use 3 of it to smack Umbrello, and he needs a 5+. He got a 9, so he did indeed do 2 damage to Umbrello. Now, unfortunately, that already brings him to what's one of the red markers on his HP track. So what happens when you hit one of those or surpass it in a single attack? Your turn for that character immediately ends, and the ruffian gets to activate. You're getting them madder and madder. So we're actually going to draw an AI card and do what it says. Kind of Dark Souls miniature game style. The ground is getting soggy. Target none. Move towards the furthest townsfolk. The landscape is flooding from all of Umbrello's nonsense. Keep this card in front of the townsfolk. When the action deck is reshuffled, all townsfolk take 1 damage and are pulled 4 squares towards the town pond, which is right there. End movement once adjacent. Then shuffle this card back in your deck. So this just stays active. I'll just put it in the corner over here. He does also say move towards the furthest townsfolk, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3. You can't move diagonally, so he went 5 and then 6. So he wanted to go after poor old Mr. Blacksmith, and that's it done. But Iron Gut's turn had to end because he forced the ruffian to get mad. So next in the beaten order is Yancey, and he conveniently now has a target right in front of his face. Sadly, he's only got that 1 weapon. So he's going to take a swing with old Smacky, his favourite hammer. He needs a 5+. And he actually got it even with the minus, because it brings it down to a 5. So he hits him for 1 damage. Brings Umbrello down to 11. His next Get Mad point is at 7 HP. Now I still have other stuff I can do. I spent 2 Moxie. Oops, hit the camera. So he has 1 Moxie left. So let's move his... He only moves 3, I forgot he's super slow. Let's move 3 though. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start moving towards the barrel in the right to try and break it open and find an item. And then finally, it's Henlo Bulwark with her new The Lion Tamer weapon. She is going to move up next to Umbrello, and she's going to try and smack him on a 4+, or technically 5 I guess, with the minus applied, which she did hit. That cost her 2 Moxie, which is all she has. What else does this do? It just does 1 damage. So that is my team's turn already over. It starts pretty simple, but as I say, the fights get harder, and then the final fight it has some kind of complicated thing you've got to do. But it's Umbrello's turn. Let's see what he does. Spearhead Parasol, target none. Turn towards the closest townsfolk and move forwards. At the end of the movement, if Umbrello collided with any townsfolk, trigger the after effects. He will indeed. He is going to walk into Henlo Bulwark. She's right there. After effect, all townsfolk that collided with Umbrello must roll and then add on their Moxie. Their total Moxie, presumably. Now, I've forgotten offhand if you still move with them and then just shove them out the way. I believe you do. So she would actually end up shoved out the way here. But she did still get pushed. Alright, roll plus Moxie. Henlo has 2 Moxie. So that makes it a 10. 9+. You grabbed Umbrello as he... You grabbed at Umbrello as he passed, ripping a piece of his parasol clean off. Umbrello's weakness is now active. Remove this card from the game. So a weakness is listed at the bottom of the card there. Lame wins. Umbrello can only move townsfolk up to 1 square with each of his actions. That is a massive help. Oh, that would have been so helpful in the fight we did online. So that was very lucky. I assume you're allowed to add your max Moxie and not the Moxie you currently have. Actually, even if it was an 8, would that still have been fine? No, it would have been the other one, which would have meant that she took 1 damage and lost 1 movement for the fight. Either way, that was his turn, so it's back round to me again, and that means we're on to Georgie Iron Gut. And I want to get close enough to smack him again. So let's do... His movement is 4. 1, 2, 3. He can't get close enough. He can do a trot. Let me just check the rules for that. You spend 2 Moxie, move 4 squares in a straight line. Okay, so you could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Use trot. End up there. He would have 2 Moxie left. He needs 3 to use the Dad's Head Hammer. You can't do it. You can't get there and attack. So what he'll do instead then is just go 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop right there. And then for Yancey's turn, he's going to try and activate the barrel, which costs 1 Moxie. You just roll on the card to take a peek inside. That's a 2. There's an angry rat inside. It scratches your face for 1 damage. Big barrel can no longer be activated. Nice. So that terrain card is gone, and Yancey has taken 1 of his 4 health. Just like that. Your base stats always go back to their base, barring any bonuses you're getting from gear when a fight is over, incidentally. So he used his movement and he can't reach, so he's done. And then that means it's Henlo, and she's going to try and use her sword and shield again, so she'll spend all her moxie to attack. Oh yeah, I've been forgetting about feat cards. Have we done anything? No one's been hit yet, really. Let's see, Henlo didn't trigger the ruffian's breaking point, that's what they're called. Breaking point. That was Iron Gut, so she hasn't earned that. Alright, she'll just attack. That is good enough. She needs a 4+. She does 1 damage, brings him down to 9. But that's it again, and we're over to his turn. Drawing card. Soggy Bottom. Target the closest townsfolk. That is Henlo. Move towards the target. If Umbrella reaches them, deal 1 damage. He's already there, so yes, he does reach her. So she's down to 2 health left. But she does not have a lot of health, but she does avoid death once. After effect, move the target 4 squares towards the pond. End once adjacent. Yeah, she is going to get adjacent. 1, 2, 3 is enough to get her adjacent. The target's rump is soaked. If the target is wearing leg gear, it's unequipped. Is she wearing leg gear? She is. Her farmer's overalls, I'll flip them over because she can still keep them. They're unequipped for the fight. Now you can spend 2 moxie to re-equip or change equipment, but for her it's probably not worth it. Alright, that's his turn over. Georgie Irongut. This time he can attack. 1, 2, and he's going for it. 5+. That's a 7. He did it, and that hits for 2 damage, which unfortunately triggers... Oh, if only he had that feat card. It triggers another breaking point, so his turn immediately ends. The ruffian has 7 health left, and we draw another AI card. Downpour. Targets all townsfolk. Move towards the wishing well? Okay. The townsfolk are swept up in the current and are pushed 4 squares towards the town pond. Oh right, sorry, Umbrella was going towards the town wishing well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's ended up there. Because you can only cross the bridge to get across here. Okay, the townsfolk are swept up in the current and are pushed 4 towards the town pond. I totally forgot also that because of his weakness, you can only be pushed 1. So 1 and 1, which means I guess she would also have only been pushed 1. So she wouldn't have in fact... Oh no, she still got damage from him hitting her though. After effect, the harsh waves toss the group around like ragdolls. All townsfolk within 3 of the town pond take 1 damage. Unfortunately, she is still within 3, so she is taking 1 damage and she has 1 health left. Don't know why Umbrella wants to go to the wishing well, but... Actually, if he keeps on going to the right, we can trigger the dynamite there. And Beehive... If a townsfolk or ruffian starts their turn adjacent, diagonals do not count, so he's not currently adjacent. So that was Georgie Irongut that triggered that happening, which means it's Yancey Plover's turn. Do I risk leaving him down by the dynamite? Umbrella would have to go towards the wishing well again. I'll risk it. He'll stay at the dynamite, the plunger down in the corner here. And we'll just go with Henlo. And she'll chase him. Actually, you know what? She should probably heal, right? She has to spend all of her moxie to heal. In that case, she'll move first. 1, 2, 3. And then she'll do pinched provisions. Spend 2 moxie, restore 1 HP. Oh no, it's only to an adjacent townsfolk. She can't heal herself. Oh no. In that case, she'll just go for it then. Why not? There. She'll go and attack. 4+. She got it. That's 1 damage. Puts the ruffian at 6. And it's Umbrella's turn. Engulfing Umbrella. Target all townsfolk within 3 squares. All targets take 1 damage. So that would mean that Henlo dies, but she has a headless chicken rule where the first time she would die, she stays at 1 health and doesn't die. And she also gets placed adjacent to a townsfolk, if I remember correctly. Yep, so she'll teleport over here for safety. Hide behind Irongut. Any townsfolk who took damage from this action is caught inside Umbrella and is removed from the board. Because he killed her, this part doesn't apply, I believe. Because she technically died at the point she took damage and then she respawns next to townsfolk. So I believe we can ignore the rest of that card. I might be wrong about that. I don't know for sure. Either way though, that means we are back round to my turn. And Georgie Irongut. So he moves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to smack him. Smack him real good. Just enough. 2 more damage. Once again, Iron Gut has triggered the last of the ruffian getting angry, but his turn immediately ends again and we draw a card. The umbrella has 4 health left. Wind Gust. All targets within 3 squares, so just Georgie Iron Gut. They take 1 damage and are pushed 5 towards the pond. He's only getting pushed 1 because of the weakness being applied. But he does take 1 damage and is down to 2 left. Then move Umbrella towards the farthest townsfolk. Okay. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The TNT play is not working out, unfortunately, as expected. That's alright. So now we're on Yancey's turn, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and unfortunately that's all he can do, because he doesn't have enough range. And then Henlo Bulwark, who I guess might as well smack him in the butt. Go right there, and try and hit him with a Lion Tamer. Oh, must remember she can also block all damage once per turn with that Lion Tamer. I'll do that if she's going to die again. Or is it reduced by 1? Either way, unfortunately she missed. So that's that done. And we're back round to Umbrella's turn. Heavy Flooding, target none. Each townsfolk within 4 of the town pond take 1 damage. Move Umbrella towards the Wishing Well. Georgie takes 1 damage. He's on 1 health left. Move. And move Umbrella towards the Wishing Well. He's back where he was, basically. Actually, does he have a rule that says he can fly? Like, townsfolk can't just cross the water. Unlike no, that says special rules for the final mission. No, I think he has to take the bridge as well, unless you're in the final fight. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think he's allowed to stop on a townsfolk, so he would be there. Or maybe he pushes them out of the way, I'm not sure. Either way, we'll have him be there. So then it's Iron Gut's turn anyway, so he's immediately going to attack and then also eat his stale cake, which normally would mean you discard it, but again he has a rule where you don't discard consumables. So he goes back up to 2 health because he gets 1 back for gnawing on the stale cake. Does he land a hit? He does, for 2 damage. He is my damage dealer. 2. The ruffian has 2 health. That's very promising. But can anyone else even hit him this turn? Probably not. If you blow up the dynamite, how far does it spread? 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good enough. Sure, 1, 2, 3. And then he's going to spend his... Can you see this? Kind of. Yes, there he is. He's going to try and use the dynamite and detonator. When adjacent, spend 2 moxie and roll. It's a 3, it's not good enough. The plunger is jammed, you can't manage to push it down. Arg! Okay, and then it's Henlo, and she doesn't have enough movement to get to the plunger either. She will stay where she is, I think? Yeah, actually no. 1, 2, 3, and then she'll use... 4, sorry. Then she'll use her pinched provisions for 2 moxie to heal Iron Gut for 1 more health. Put him back up to 3, and then it is Umbrella's turn. Water Spout, target none. Turn towards the closest townsfolk. Any townsfolk standing within 2 squares directly in front of Umbrella, oh dear, are blasted by a stream of water. They take 2 damage and are pushed 10 squares towards the pond. Well, thankfully they only get pushed 1 rather, because of him having his weakness applied. But 2 damage. Well, Henlo's going to use the Lion Tamer to take no damage. And Iron Gut just takes the 2 damage, so he's on 1. Sure, but the Lion Tamer can't be used as a defensive item again this fight. Next fight it can. Alright, let's try and kill him. If Iron Gut lands the hit, we're done in the first fight. Let's see if he does it. 5 plus. 9, he did. The ruffian hits 0 health, and at that point the fight is over. And I'm going to look at the rulebook to make sure we do these steps right. Alright, I have the rulebook in hand. Defeating the ruffian. Upon defeating the ruffian, the townsfolk do the following. You can discard any unaccomplished feats they don't want. I'll be getting rid of most of them, I think. Each townsfolk receives 6 coins, courtesy of the ruffian's wallet. So I'll do that off camera in a second as well. You search their mutilated corpse for goodies to help you on your journey. Each ruffian has 3 pieces of ruffian gear. are listed on the bottom of the card. The townsfolk who accomplish the most feats, 0. Not the most points, just the most feats, receives one of these at random. Knocked out townsfolk are not eligible for this reward. In the case of a tie, roll and see who gets the highest. Georgie Irongut. 4. Henlo. 2. Yancey. 3. Okay, it goes to Irongut. I've looked out the 3 cards. Let's go with you. Breezy Cape. He has a Breezy Cape which is chest gear, so he's going to have to store the cloth. Oh no, cloth wrapping was on Henlo. +1 movement permanently. If any player lands a critical hit on the ruffian, you can restore 1 HP. Seems pretty good. So I'll sort that onto his gear in a second. Restore each townsfolk's stats. Stats from actions, town events and terrain are removed. Only stat changes from your gear should remain. Rotate the townsfolk order from... Well, I'm not going to do that because I'm playing solo. Return to town and recuperate. Flip the sideboard and begin the next town phase. Alright. Alright, so that is the general flow of Townsfolk Tussle. We're back round to the town phase. I discarded 1 feat card for Henlo and Yancey and 2 for Georgie. So first phase of the town phase, we draw new ones. 2 of them for Georgie. Playing it safe. Never end your turn adjacent to the ruffian for the entire fight. I can tell you now that's not getting scored. But still, you can't get rid of it. Fight fixated. Purchase no gear from the peddler in this town phase. Ooh. You know, he might be in a good enough place to do that. Okay. 1 more for Henlo, because she kept 2 of them. Cherished. If you're healed by another townsfolk. It would have been perfect for anyone other than her to have this. That's so typical. And then 1 more for Yancey. Confident Walloper. Deal 2+ damage to the ruffian in a single turn with weapons. Not currently, but potentially. I've already repopulated the shop as well. But first, town event for each character. Irongut. The Giblet Brothers. You check the Eureka Springs. Sorry, I meant to mention that's the name of the town, Eureka Springs. Gym for trouble, only to find the town strongmen, the Giblet Brothers. You may spend 3 coins to train with them. Well, does that break the rules for fight fixated? No, because it just says purchase no gear. Alright, Irongut will spend 3 of his 8 coins, why not, to go to the gym. You roll, and then add on your max HP. His max HP is 3. Oh dear, so that would be 5. Ugh. You're beyond hope. The Giblet Brothers pray you never return. Well, you know, that's the way it goes. Henlo's town event. Bloody Prince. You notice a trail of bloody footprints leading around the corner. Someone might be in trouble. You should go check it out. Roll and then add on your accuracy. Our accuracy is -1. So that would be a 1 then. Someone did need help, and it's you. The gory trail leads right to a ruffian, and you're stranded without backup. For the next fight, begin the fight adjacent to the ruffian and immediately take 1 damage. Well, I didn't actually reset her damage, so I'll just do that now. She's at 2 instead of 3. That's not good. Alright, that town event's done. And then for Yancey. Potion Maker. A crazed top-hatted fellow speedily walks towards you. He's looking for some ingredients for his next potion. You may offer up any piece of consumable gear to make... he doesn't have a consumable... Oh no, he does. He has a lemonade. On a 3+, you get something pretty nice. If you don't do anything, he makes the next ruffian have +1 movement against you. You know what? He'll get rid of the lemonade. That's a consumable. He'll give the potion seller the lemonade he had equipped. So that's gone now. And then you roll. Don't get a 1 or a 2. You got a 1. The potion maker whips up a concoction and urges you to drink it immediately. It tastes terrible. The potion has no effect. Shucks. If he'd gone a 3+, he would have grown an extra limb and got an extra unique piece of gear. That's some bad luck. Alright, we're up to the shopping phase now, so let me just decide what I actually want to spend on. Alright, the shop actually has some pretty decent stuff this time, and thanks to the 6 coins that each got for killing the ruffian, I think we can do something with that. Now, Georgie is not spending any. He only has 5 left anyway, which means that Fight Fixated is going to score for him, and he's going to take +2 accuracy for the next fight. And he keeps this card because he's scored 1 point towards becoming the new sheriff. So I'll put that turned on his card. 2 accuracy gives him a +1 bonus to his rolls, which may make a difference. Henlo has the most money. She's got 14, and I'm going to spend 13 of it on 5-foot flintlock, which is a two-handed gun. So she's going to store her lion tamer and she's going to give it to Yancy, because again I'm using shared storage. They do warn that shared storage makes the game easier. The game is hard, so I'm okay with making it easier for now. Plus I'm playing solo, so I feel like individual stashes for each character is pointless. But she's going to use the 5-foot flintlock. No, she's not. She doesn't have enough moxie. Ah! I didn't realise you needed 3 moxie to use this thing. Oh, it'd be so perfect for her if I could get her +1 moxie somehow. Can I do that as well? Like if someone else was to buy something for her? Yes, actually. Yes. Alright, so again, this is the benefit of playing solo. So yeah, it needs 3 moxie to fire. You need a 6+. It does 2 damage, but it can be shot from range 14. Only in a straight line, but that's okay. So she is going to buy that for 13 of her cash. So she has 1 penny left. She can't technically use it. She's storing the lion tamer and equipping it though, because Yancy can spend his 11 to buy shin guards, and he's going to give those to Henlo, which gives you +1 moxie, and then if the ruffian deals damage to you from 2+ squares away, the ruffian takes 1 damage. And that does also mean that her farmer's overalls are being unequipped. I don't know if starting gear is allowed to be equipped on anyone else, so I'll just store that for sure. But we're doing some gear switching, so she's using the shin guards, and he is losing his old smacky. Oops. And he's going to take the lion tamer as a two-handed weapon, which is more his style, I think, anyway, because he's supposed to be tanky. So I think that's it. Spent our money, 1 feat earned. Let's see who we're fighting next. So, the second target on our search for ruffians to murder, the hooligan level, is... Oops. Will Barrow. Let me see his card. He was not in the online demo, so I'm not familiar with him. Will Barrow. Where is he? There he is. Oh yeah, he's the haunted wheelbarrow. Okay. So, because he is a hooligan, he gets a special rule. Reckless Rider. If Barlow collides with a townsfolk during an action, they take 1 damage at the end of the action. So he does +1 damage when he rams people. 14 health as well. 7 movement though. And again, because this isn't the final fight, you ignore any FFs in his map. But that'll be getting set up in a minute. Alright, turn 1 of the second battle, and the ruffian goes first because there's no town event to stop him this time. Will Barrow, blood will flow, it's Will Barlow. It's what it says on the back of his cards. Early burial. Barlow attempts to bury you inside his burrow. Target the closest townsfolk, which is Henlo, because the town event forced her to start next to him. Move towards the target. If he reaches them, trigger the after effect. Well, yeah, he does indeed reach them. She's right there. Ghosts throw the target deep into Barlow's dirt-filled barrow. Remove them from the board and keep this card in front of them. Oh dear. She's off the board. Let's see. At the start of your turns, roll, which is about to happen now. So we'll roll now and see what happens, but the card stays in play. 8. You muster all the energy you can and claw your way out of Barlow. Place yourself adjacent to Barlow, discard this card, and reshuffle the action deck. Presumably with that card discarded. Since it was the first card we drew, I'm not going to bother reshuffling because it's already shuffled. She's back. I'm going to put her right where she was. So now, Georgie Irongut. Complete with his movement of 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. It costs 2 to move through this ditch, incidentally. That's what the terrain card says for it. But he's just going to smack Will Barlow with his dad's head hammer for his 3 moxie. Not good enough. That misses even with his +1 bonus. After him then, it's Yancy Plover. He's also just going to get in there. And he's going to attack. Oh, incidentally, he didn't score the card for removing a landscape terrain piece because the barrel was not removed. It just didn't, it was unoperable after he got a bad result. So he got a crit, so we finally get to talk about what happens if you get a crit. First of all, it does the damage it's supposed to do, which is 1. Puts Will Barlow on 13 rather. But then you have to roll, and sometimes getting a crit is not good. That's a 4. You crush the ruffian's walkie bits. Lower the ruffian's movement by 1. It was good. So the ruffian comes down to, did he start at 6 or 7? He did start at 7. So he's down to 6 movement for the rest of the fight. It could get lowered again by similar effects. And then, to end the turn, Henlo, she's going to pull back because she's got a gun. 1, 2, 3. How much movement? 4 or 5, yeah, why not? She'll start going towards the picnic table. And she'll shoot for 3 Moxie, and again she has 3 Moxie because she has the shin guards improvement. So, she needs a 6+ though, it's hard to hit with. That's a 3, and she gets a -1 to that, so... Oh, technically it's a 7+ then, so it's really hard to hit, and she missed. So we're back to Will Barlow's turn then. Quick shift, target none. Face the closest townsfolk and move forward 2 squares. Okay. Reshuffle the action deck and play the next card in the action deck. Okay, so that would be 1, 2, I guess. Or no, it doesn't say it collides, it just says it moves towards, so I guess nothing happens. So let's see. Reshuffle the action deck. Again, this is the only card drawn. Although I guess I have to shuffle this card back in, so I will shuffle it. Fair enough. There. And draw another card. Quick shift. This is the same card. I did shuffle it. You know what, I'm just going to put that on the bottom and draw the next card. Knock away. Barlow sends a townsfolk flying. Target the townsfolk with the least equipped gear. Oh. That would be... Georgie's got 4, Henlo's got 3, Yancey's got 2, so it's Yancey. Target them with the least gear, so Yancey's right in front of him. Move towards the target, then all townsfolk adjacent to Barlow take 1 damage. All townsfolk that took damage from this action are pushed 4 squares from him. Okay, so Iron Gut and Yancey both take 1 damage. Yancey's down to 3. Georgie's down to 2 because his turn event. Oh no, he starts at 3. And they're pushed 4 away from him. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if that takes into consideration that it takes 2 to get pushed through this. Presumably, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then it's my turn. Although he's going to get a free turn as soon as he takes 1 damage. Georgie's got to go first, and he's in the ditch. He's going to eat his leftovers for 1 to heal him back to full. Which doesn't actually cost any Moxie. It doesn't say it costs Moxie. What can you do in the dangerous ditch? You can spend 1 Moxie to scavenge, but you have to get an 8+ to find something. It's not worth it, I would say. He's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to come back out swinging. Why not? 5+. Got him. Almost a crit. 2 damage. Puts Will Barlow down to 11, but unfortunately triggers a rage moment. So his turn is ended, and it's a card draw. Harvest a soul. Target the townsfolk with the highest HP. Yancey and Georgie are currently drawing, but if it counts max HP, then it's Yancey. Move towards them. If he reaches them, trigger the after effect. So it's 6 movement he's got now. 1, 2, 3. He does indeed reach them. Barlow's ghosts begin to drain you of your life force. Keep this card in front of the target. At the start of each of your turns, you must lower your movement, moxie, or accuracy by 1. If any of your stats reach the bottom of the stat bar, activate Barlow's weakness and remove this card from the game. Oh. There doesn't appear to be any way for me to stop this. Okay, so Yancey's going to get -1 movement, moxie, or accuracy. And if it ever reaches the bottom of his bar, doesn't take his health at least. That's still rough though. Okay. Well, my turn, and Georgie's going first. He's going to stab Will Barlow in the back with his dad's head hammer. A 7 is good enough. Oh wait, no, sorry, he already went. I forgot that wasn't his turn, that was a reaction. Okay, so in that case it's Yancey's turn. So is it on his turn it happens? At the start of each of your turns, yeah. So he has to lose a stat. He's going to lose a movement point, I guess. So he's down to 2 movement now. And because that counts as a ruffian's action lowering his movement, he actually does score Unshakable for 1 point. And he's going to take +2 Moxie for the fight, I guess? Yeah, he'll take +2 Moxie for the fight. Why not? So it puts him at 5 Moxie for the fight, which is pretty good. And then after that, it is Henlo Bulwark. She might as well fire before moving, see what happens. 7+ because of her -1 accuracy. She got a crit! Alright, well that does 2 damage base. Puts him at 9, and then we crack out the crit table again and see what happens. 7 on the crit table. You're invigorated by your hefty hit. Increase your movement, moxie, or accuracy by 1 for the fight. Movement, moxie, or accuracy. She's going to take the accuracy. So she's at a flat, like a neutral accuracy now. No minus applied, so it is a 6+ on her flintlock. Good. Okay, well, that's the turn over now. So now it is over to Will Barlow. Let's see what he does. Gravestone Chew. Target the closest townfolk. That's Yancey. Barlow spits gravestone rubble in your direction. It's a ranged attack. If the target is within 4 squares, they take 2 damage, and then he moves towards the farthest townsfolk. Well, moving towards the farthest townsfolk would be 1, 2. Yancey is going to use his smithy apron. Once per fight, prevent all damage dealt to you from an action. So he takes no damage from that. But he can only do it once a fight. Let's see, what else? Or he could have used a Lion Tamer. I forgot he has 2 ways to negate damage, but honestly that's probably worth it. So, Georgie's turn. Iron Gut, he's going to smack into him. Dad's Head Hammer. That's an 8, it hits for 2 damage, and unfortunately that puts Will Barlow at 7 health remaining, which also triggers another rage moment. So, we draw another card. Ankle Roller. Towards the townsfolk with the highest movement. The current highest movement is Henlo. Move towards the target. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. He will reach them. 1, 2, 3, 4. He has indeed reached them. So that's 1 damage, putting Henlo at 1 health. After effect. Target rolls. 9. The target needs a turn to recover. They cannot move next turn. Well, that's this turn, because that was an interrupt action. That's fine, because he's adjacent, so she doesn't need to move. I don't think there's any rule that says you can't fire a ranged weapon base to base. If I'm wrong about that, by all means let me know. But first though, it's Yancey. And he's right there. Oh, he loses a stat. He's going to lose movement again, and that triggers the tail end of that card. So his movement is now 1, it's at the bottom. So if any of your stats reach the bottom of the stat bar, activate Barlow's weakness and remove this card from the game. His weakness... Satiated Souls. Reduce Barlow's movement by 2. So he's fed on Yancey's soul so much he's now stuffed and bloated. So he's down to movement 4, which is interesting. Okay. Well, Yancey is going to swing his... I was going to say hammer, but he has the Lion Tamer. 4+. He got a crit. Alright, well there's 1 damage. And then we roll in the crit table. A 6 on the crit table is... You're invigorated by your hefty hit. Now what does he need more of now? You know, I could put my movement back up a little bit so he has movement 2. Why not? There we go. Sure, that's kind of helpful. And then Henlo to end the turn. She's not allowed to move this turn. But she doesn't need to. She's going to shoot her gun at his face. 6+. 4. Not good enough. I need to make her interact with the train feature as well. I totally forgot that, but she can't move this turn anyway, so. Back round to Will Barlow. Will Blood Flow. Not having much time to interact with terrain. Soul Control. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Target the townsfolk with the low... As I hit the camera, with the lowest moxie. The lowest moxie is... Still Henlo, even though she's had +1. Move forward 3 squares, then trigger the after effect. No need, she's right there. A barrel ghost leaps into the target, controlling them from within. The target rolls. Okay. 3. You start shouting obscenities at your fellow townsfolk and they're not having it. You take 1 damage for each townsfolk within 3 squares. Thankfully only 1. That would be enough to kill her, but her headless chicken kicks in, so she's back with 1 HP. And I'll say that she's there because she respawns adjacent to someone. I want her a bit close to that picnic table. Okay, so that's that. And oh, some of the other I was reading some of the other results on that card. That would have been nasty. Now then, that was his turn. So we're back round to Georgie Irongut, my damage dealer. He's getting in there. 5+. It's a 9 again. He does 2 damage. He has put the ruffian to... Oh no. Put him to 4 but triggered another rage moment, so his turn is gone again. Interrupt. Card draw. Mud Soaked. Target the closest townsfolk. I'm going to say... Well, there are 2 people adjacent. I'm going to say Georgie Irongut. Move towards them. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. He obviously reaches them, he's right there. That's 1 damage to Georgie Iron Guts. I've been forgetting that every time a crit gets landed, he can heal 1. I don't actually, so that's the first bit of health he's lost after healing himself, so I don't think it matters, but I keep forgetting that. Let's see, Barlow unloads a pile of mud and bones on top of the target. They can barely move. Keep this card in front of the target. You must lower your movement and accuracy by 1. If you end your turn adjacent to the town pond, gain them back, then discard this. Okay, so you're covered in mud, and you need to get to the town pond. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to kill him. So that's fine. It is our Iron Guts' turn. Did it say it lowered his moxie? No, movement and accuracy. So his accuracy is currently 0, so no bonus one way or the other. 5 plus. Wait, I already attacked with him, didn't I? That was an interrupt turn. Yes. Okay, good. So it's actually Yancey's turn. He will attack, use the Lion Tamer. 5 plus is good enough, there's 1 damage. Will Barlow has 3 health left. Will he move? 2 moxie. He could go use the picnic table, but I kind of want Henlo to do that. Although if she does that, she doesn't have enough. She doesn't have enough moxie to attack as well, because interacting with the picnic table costs 1 moxie. Arg. You know, multiple people can interact with it, so you'll go. I think you can walk through teammates. 1, you can't walk through ruffians, so 2. Oh wait, he's only got 2 movement. You know what? He's just going to stay there. He's going to move 1 to the right. I forgot his movement's rubbish now. Henlo though, she's moving, and she has lots of movement. So she should go 1, 2, 3, and she shall spend 1 moxie to interact with the picnic table. The 5 is nothing. You have to get a 7 plus to do something. Okay. She did interact with a feature though, which means Tinkerer scores. Doesn't have any points on it, but it still scores. She doesn't need the +1 movement, so she'll take the 1 penny. But hey, at least that means everybody's achieved 1 thing. So there is that. Before I forget, I'm going to go look out the penny, but we're on to Will Barlow's turn again. Alright, I zoomed in a little bit as well, so we can see the action. He only has 3 health left, but he gets to do things. Permanent possession. Target the closest townsfolk. It's a draw. Let me see what this is. Move towards the target. If he reaches them, trigger the after effect. A ghost launches itself deep inside your body, waiting for the opportunity to strike. Keep this card in front of the target for the remainder of the game. Whenever you whiff a 1, when you're attacking, the ghost inside you seizes control of your limbs and punches you in the face. Nice! I'll give that to Yancey. Yancey is now possessed by a spooky ghost that will punch him in the face if he ever misses. Hopefully that's not going to matter though. Let's go for Iron Gut. He's just going to attack. Is he just going to attack? I keep forgetting he needs to open up the jam trunk at some point, which costs 3 moxie, which is everything he has almost. He's got 4. If he does that, he discards it and receives the first card from the peddler deck. Yeah, I'll spend his turn. I'll spend his turn doing that, and then he'll also have his stale cake to heal for 1. So I discard the jam trunk, and I take the card off the top of the peddler deck, which I shall. Where did I put it? There it is. This is the top card. You found a concert ticket. What is this? Changing gear during a fight costs 0 moxie as long as an instrument is involved. Special gear, I believe, just goes into storage and applies, I think. You don't have a special slot, so I guess that's fine. Question mark. But that's his turn. So then Yancey, he's cracking out the Lion Tamer, 4 plus. Got him for 1. So 2 health left. Henlo can end this. She can end it. 1, 2. Stare down. On a 6 plus. She ends it. That's a 9. 2 damage. She takes the shot. Will Barlow gets explodinated. His spooky ghosts inside him evaporate. We rob him for 6 coins each. And yeah, that's the end of the fight phase. So we go into the end phase. So I think it's best if I do split this across 2 videos, because I do feel like it's going to run long if we manage to live through the next 2 fights. And for the good of my voice, and also not feeling like I have to rush through the next 2 fights, I think that's for the best as well. So everybody gets plus 6 coins, and then next time we'll open up with the town phase prior to fight number 3. and we'll have to pick new feat cards, we'll have to draw new town cards, etc. All that good stuff. But this has been the start of Townsfolk Tussle. If you're interested in seeing more, do let me know in the comments. Obviously you're still going to see how this run of the game ends, but whether or not you want to see any beyond that, there's still plenty more ruffians to potentially encounter. 2 more in this run for sure, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching this far. If you did though, I hope you enjoyed. Hope I tried to make everything as clear as possible, and it was easy to follow along. Only downside is I didn't interact with enough terrain, I think. I'm missing a part of the fun by not interacting with the terrain, but it just so happens the layout kind of put all the fun stuff down here, like the trying to get the ruffian over to the beehive. If you get to this house, there's a chance you can get someone inside with a shotgun to shoot the ruffian. You can hide in the hay so you don't get targeted. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Ta for now.